What's going on, boxing fans? This is Kenneth, SBM Boxing. Let's speak boxing. I wanted to create this video for those boxing fans who've been really busy, haven't been really keeping up with boxing. Wants a little bit of update, not just from one fight, not two fights. Just an overall update of what's going on out there in the boxing world. A lot of big fights that happen, a lot of activity in the boxing world. This past weekend, Klitschko versus Thompson took place. Yes, Wladimir Klitschko, which is the heavyweight champion, 58-3 with 51 knockouts. The legendary Wladimir Klitschko. If you guys wonder who am I speaking, because he also has them guys are between him and his brother. They're cleaning house, you know. Well, anyways, Thompson showed his age. You know, these guys faced off in the past. You know, when Thompson was 36 years old, he lost in the 11th round, got KO'd by Klitschko, but he complained and he blamed it pretty much on a hindered knee, or he had an injury that caused him to go down in the 11th round. And now up to date, he fought him this past weekend. He was 40 years old, and he definitely showed his age. You know, the combination of his age and also Klitschko landing some clean shots from the second round to the fourth round. Nevertheless warmed down, you know. He lasted 5 rounds before Klitschko just completely ended the fight, you know. Also, Pavlik put on a good show. He fought Rosinsky. Rosinsky actually, he shocked me, you know. I had Pavlik winning by knockout. Pavlik actually landed a clean shot, knocking down Rosinsky, but Rosinsky was able to come back, continue to do his thing, staying active, bringing the fight to Pavlik, and he wasn't scared whatsoever. So kudos, my hat goes down to Rosinsky, even though he came out with the loss. But you know, he definitely showed heart, and that's all as a boxing fan I can ask for, is for a fighter to go in there, try as best he can, put on a good performance against a veteran like Pavlik. If anything, he made Pavlik, you know, a little rusty, make him look a little rusty. And Pavlik, after that fight, you know, Pavlik said, you know, I made a lot of mistakes. You know, Rosinsky definitely put it on Pavlik. You know, Pavlik still, before he gets into top fights, Pavlik's he needs to get about one or two more fights underneath of his belts before he can get back into the spotlight. Moving on, Donaire fought Mathebula, African Mathebula. It was a unification bout between the two. Unanimous decision, Nonito Donaire. Mathebula put on, you know, a good performance as well. Donaire was able to knock him down in the 3rd round. He still was able to get back up and continue to be the more active fighter. Seen a side of Donaire that haven't really seen so far in his boxing career. You know, maybe it was a larger opponent. Maybe he never fought someone so tall. But Mathebula was boxing him. You know, he was throwing some clean shots, landing some jabs, just throwing a flurry of punches at him. So he really had to. Donaire had to bring the fight to him. Donaire made a lot of mistakes. He came out with the victory, being victorious, landed some hard shots. You know, as far as being the power puncher, he definitely showed his power. Wish he would have went to the body a little bit more, worked the jab a little bit more. But all in all, he did a hell of a job. You know, is he moving up in weight? Yeah, that was the plans for him to move up in weight. But as of right now, I think he took a step back. You know, he's going to take a step back and slowly but surely move up in weight. What's going on with Donaire already? Bob Aaron's already top-ranked promoter. He's already setting up, scheduling a fight in October for him, the Filipino Flash Donaire, to take on the Mexican Warrior Jorge Arce, which is 60-6 with 46 KOs, and sometime in October in the Staples Center. So those who don't know the Staples Center is actually the home of the Los Angeles Lakers. Who is this guy? Well, Arce, just to break this down to you, Arce is actually he was the title holder for the WBO. He was the original title holder, and he beat Wilfredo Vasquez, and he relinquished it when he went down in weight. Thus, Wilfredo Vasquez actually had the belt. So when Nonito Donaire beat Wilfredo Vasquez in the unanimous decision, Wilfredo Vasquez was actually pretty much given the belt because he lost that belt to Arce, but Arce went down in weight. So Arce is going to come back up in weight and take on Nonito Donaire. So this is going to be a hell of a fight, being that actually Arce put on a better performance against Vasquez than Nonito Donaire did. And I think, in my personal opinion, it's kind of hard to come off a loss, and fight coming off a loss. Whereas Arce fought Wilfredo Vasquez straight up when he was actually the champion, and he put on a better performance than Donaire did. So I definitely want to see that fight. I think it's a good test for Nonito. It's a good test for boxing, and to see if he can actually move up in weight. Now, I'm actually liking the fact that Bob Arum is putting him in the ring with some clean fighters and keeping them active, all in all. As far as Timothy Bradley versus Manny Pacquiao, I really don't know if that fight's going to take place. I haven't seen too much on it, and I know it's going wishy-washy as far as Manny Pacquiao taking on Manny Pacquiao taking on Juan Manuel Marquez, or taking on Timothy Bradley. He said he wanted Bradley, but all of a sudden he's saying, hey, bring the fight, bring Mayweather, bring him. Honestly, I want to see the Mayweather fight, but let's be realistic. I know I'm going to get a lot of controversy for this, but in all fairness, the Mayweather fight cannot happen this year. I will, I'm not trying to be a biased fight. I'm trying to be completely non-biased about the situation. As far as I would love to see these fighters fight, but being that Mayweather's in jail, it's kind of unfair for him to come out and fight Manny Pacquiao. I don't want no excuses. I want all these excuses off the table. I think Manny Pacquiao needs to fight Timothy Bradley one more time, so at least Mayweather and hopefully beat Timothy Bradley, because if he doesn't beat Timothy Bradley, at least Mayweather has that leverage and says, you know what, I understand that you got robbed that first fight, but you lost the second fight. So if we're going to fight, money shouldn't be an issue, hands down. Now, if Manny Pacquiao beats Timothy Bradley as soon as Mayweather comes out of jail, money's not going to be in, that it should be still 50-50. Pacquiao should still have that leverage. Now, if Mayweather fights Pacquiao, it's just, and that fight doesn't happen. I mean, if it takes place this year, it's just, in all fairness, I want Mayweather to have at least one fight. I want to see Mayweather Pacquiao 2013, and I just think it's just right to do that. Amir Khan's taking on Danny Garcia. That's going to be a hell of a fight. There's a lot of bad tension, bad blood out there between the two camps. Who do I think who's going to win? My fight predictions, I think Amir Khan's going to win that fight. Amir Khan's saying, you know what, I'm going to win by knockout. I really don't see that happening. I think Amir Khan's going to win by unanimous decision, but I'm excited about seeing that fight. As far as Timothy Bradley's concerned, man, this is crazy. Timothy Bradley, yes, beat Manny Pacquiao. Yes, there was a lot of upset people in the Philippines. There was a lot of upset people worldwide. I was upset by the complete the outcome of the fight, the way it went down. I was outraged with the two judges. I was actually outraged with the three judges. But all in all, I'm a boxing fan. I love boxing, but boxing doesn't take over my life. It doesn't. I understand I get upset, but that's not the end of the day. I have a family. I have work to do. I have a life to live. The reason I'm starting to go off and say this is because Timothy Bradley's getting, believe it or not, he's getting death threats. This guy's getting emails. He's getting Twittered. He's getting Facebook. Just death threats. I understand that Timothy Bradley, he's a young cocky fighter, and he unfairly tarnished the record of the Filipino sensation Manny Pacquiao. He hurt boxing, but all in all, it's not Timothy Bradley's fault, man. He's a boxer. He's hungry. I didn't like the way he used leverage as far as, hey, Mr. Bob Arum, before I sign with Top Rank and I go to Top Rank, my terms and conditions is bring me the fight of Manny Pacquiao. So he used the leverage, which I felt like he didn't have he wasn't in line to fight Manny Pacquiao, but he did a wise business decision and used that as leverage to fight Manny Pacquiao as far as signing with Top Rank. But a lot of people, a lot of boxing stars, people that do know him, friends and family say, Timothy Bradley, all in all, is a good guy. This guy has a life to live. I think sometimes boxing fans, I understand boxing is it's an exciting sport, especially if you follow it a lot. But death threats, that's a little extreme, man. This guy has a family. He has a life to live, and besides he has a life off the ring, out of the ring itself. So I wanted to share that with you guys and see how extreme this whole entire thing played out. And death threats up to date, so he's still getting death threats, and his lifestyle is and him and his trainer. And I just thought that was a little. I thought I'll share that with you guys. I thought that was a little crazy, but I want to see you guys' feedback. I created a fight prediction for Amir Khan versus Danny Garcia. Guys, let me know what you guys think. Stay tuned. Subscribe, friend request. This is Kenneth, the SBM Boxing. Have a good one.